What is going on, everybody? Back at you again with this new edition in this episode of this Move the Chains podcast with your man and your host, Sam McIntyre. Hope you're doing well today on this terrific Tuesday. Really wacky game last night. Giants in Pittsburgh last night against the Steelers. That crowd was rocking. I was there about 12 years ago with my dad. Went and saw them play the Chargers with Big Ben after they lost to Tebow. God help us. But I did see the game last night. I was kind of bouncing back and forth. I always give my post-game reaction on here. I wanted to give my two takes on both organizations. But I wanted to start with the Giants last night. I always start with the losing team and then I go on the winning. So, the Giants last night are kind of in a weird predicament. I like a lot of elements with the Giants. I like their receiver. Malik Neighbors is a stud. I knew that coming out of LSU. LSU is just a factory of receivers. They always develop them well. They're like Ohio State, like Nick Deaton talked about. They just develop well. They got great receiver coaches down there that know how to develop these kids, and they're really talented, and they mold them, and they get that fine product, and they ship them to the NFL. And they do a great job at that. Malik Neighbors, I think, is on that. He's not even development. I mean, that guy is a stud already. Kind of reminds me, and I hate saying it, Odell Beckham a little bit. The speed and the agility and the quick strike and the kind of suddenness in and out of breaks. He's incredible. But Daniel Jones is just not the guy. And it's just a shame because I like Brian Daboll a lot. And when I just mentioned the Giants have a lot of things going for them, they have a lot of pieces that you like. Their defensive line is nasty. Sexy Dexy. You know, they got Sexy Dexy back there. Brian Burns is balling. They got him from Carolina, who's been a great addition. Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, I was critical of him coming out. I thought he was a Mariano Rivera kind of one-trick pony, just a fastball, rush up the field and get the quarterback, but he's been solid. I don't know if he's ever going to be elite like a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby, but he's got potential to be a Pro Bowler. So there's that for you there. And then, you know, the running back Tracy from Purdue, he's a stud. I didn't know he was from Indianapolis. You know, so he's an Indiana-born kid. He's a stud from Purdue. So there's a lot of things I like with the Giants, and Daboll's a really good coach, and he's just, I think what he's doing is impressive. It really is, and it's reminding me of Sean Payton in Denver, getting the most, squeezing every bit of juice out of that, squeeze a lemon out of that lemonade. I mean, he's just doing really good stuff with a limited supporting cast, and the cupboard's kind of bare. It's not loaded like the Niners roster or Philadelphia a couple years ago, where it was just 9 Ferraris lined up in the garage with Pro Bowlers and all pros. Giants got maybe a couple, but you take away last night, if there's an all 22 guys, almost half of them are Pittsburgh. So, you know, give or take, but I think the Giants need a restart. And the way I would restart it if I was them, now again, I'm some dumbass, but my viewpoint is I would start by keeping Daboll. And I know Joe Shane's got a lot of heat. And I don't know what they're going to do. I heard that Mara's going to keep it stable. I don't know. They need to do it. I think Brian Daboll is a really excellent coach. I think if they keep Daboll, watch out. Because Brian Daboll can coach. This is not a coaching problem with the Giants. It's more a quarterback issue. And Brian Daboll didn't get handed. He got handed Daniel Jones. He didn't get his pick of the litter. He came in and tried to fix Daniel Jones, and 2 years ago, fixed with him the best that he could do. I know he threw 15 touchdowns, which is pathetic, getting the amount of money he got. But there's a lot of things with the Giants they're right there. And I think if they got the quarterback right, they're right there in that mix to really do some things. I said this a couple weeks ago. They remind me of Tampa a couple years ago with Brady, or, you know, Tampa Bay or Seattle right now. Seattle's kind of in that boat too, I've said. Well, they just need a quarterback and a guy to get a little bit more. You know, Geno's not bad. He's a good reclamation project, but he's a bridge. But you need a little bit more. A little bit more juice, a little bit more oomph, like a Jaden Daniels in Washington. So, Giants are right there, very close. This is not a rebuild, like a complete teardown and start over for the Giants. There's elements that you have. It's like a house. You got a lot of components that are great. You got the foundation down in the house. You got your left tackle. Andrew Thomas, when he's healthy, he's a stud. You have your running game. You have your receiver. Get some more depth on the offensive line. Get some more pieces, because the Giants are not that far away from everybody telling me they are. And then to Pittsburgh. Look, I've been critical of Mike Tomlin. Everybody knows that I've been critical. And Vinny, I know you pretty well. You're my dad's friend. And you know what I'm talking about. Listen, Mike Tomlin's a good coach. I'm not trying to pick on him. But it's time for some new. Okay? Pittsburgh does a lot of things well. Their defense is always flying around. TJ Watt's a stud. I get all that. And Russell, listen, he's playing out of his mind. He's playing really good football. And it's reminding me of 2013 Seattle Seahawks. Run the ball. Deep play action game. Not let Russ cook thing. Yeah, I was working 2020 for a couple games, and then he burned the kitchen up. Fire! He burned it up. Okay? So last night, and Arthur Smith is getting a lot of credit. He did this with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, got the best out of him, and got a number 1 seed. Now, Pittsburgh 6-2, you're thinking, well, shit, maybe they can go on a run. I don't know. You still got the Chiefs in your conference. You still got Buffalo. You still got Baltimore. Even in division, you got to play. So a lot's to be made of the Pittsburgh Steelers the next couple weeks. We'll see. I am impressed last night, but let's put it in a vacuum. They played the Giants, so kind of a boo-boo team. You need to call me when they play the Chiefs Christmas. They need to call me when, so I'm not trying to shit on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They won last night, and great. But that should have been over last night. But once again, Tomlin's teams. And what is with Pickens? What is up his ass? Why is he such a shit bird? It's almost like I'm watching the guy at Georgia, where everything is there at the talent. But he's a fucking dumbass. And DK Metcalf falls into this. Terrell Owens falls into this. But it's not something new, because I've seen this movie my whole life. These guys, they act like divas. They act like dumbasses. And this is what you get. Fuck around, you're going to find out. And, I just don't know why. They need to get Pickens more. I don't know why they don't. I get they want to run the ball, establish the run with Najee Harris. He's been looking like a new man rejoice lately. So I've been impressed with Pittsburgh. I'm not trying to shit on him. And Mike Tomlin did get a lot of heat. He took out Justin Fields, who all the people said that he was the EPA and all that nerdy shit. You know what? He said, fuck it. I'm rolling with the new guy. Let's go. And he did. And it's worked. Now, can it sustain? I'm not sure. I got to see the next couple weeks. You play Baltimore twice. You still got Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and that arsenal of weapons. You can't count Joe Burrow out. Okay? And Cincinnati's always giving you a tough out. So, it's kind of time now where, Pittsburgh could gain some momentum, but I'm not really sure. And with Mike Tomlin, I don't know. I think he's a good coach. It's not a shit on him. But he reminds me a lot of Pete Carroll. A lot of high energy. But he's kind of drastic in terms of offensive football in this day and age. But a lot of things he does is relatable. Yes, he can get the defense, and he can get everything else. He's a leader of men. He's got a Dan Campbell vibe. I get all that. But at some point, how many more times are we going to keep hearing, well, he's never had a losing season? That's not, the standard is here for Pittsburgh. This isn't Jacksonville. This isn't the Jets. You need to do more. Your standard needs to be here. Not fucking here. So, at some point with Pittsburgh, and again, enjoy the win. I'm not trying to shit on you today. It's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just saying, you need kind of a new start. At some point with the Steelers, find a new coach with an offensive philosophy that still implements those blue-collar principles that the Pittsburgh Steelers have known and been known for a long time. They're still one of the biggest brands in football. This isn't a shitty team. I'm just pointing out you need to get young on the coach. And Mike Tomlin, how many more times? Just undisciplined football last night from them. So that's all I wanted to say on here. I'm impressed with the Giants. Got a little bit to go. Need a quarterback. Need some things to go. But they're right there, man. They just need a little bit more oomph on offense. Keep Daboll. Keep the structure. It's not all Brian Daboll's fault. He got handed Daniel Jones. Now, is Daniel Jones going to get a market? Maybe. He can be a reclamation project. Now, I just heard on my podcast recently that I listened to before I got on here. It's great to have you guys on. Was maybe the Raiders get him? I don't know. Maybe kick the tires. Why not? At this point with the Raiders, I'm like going, you need something. And Daniel Jones is athletic enough, and he's got the traits, but I just don't think there's something missing. But I don't think he needs a new start. Now, if he goes to Vegas, is that kind of the thing? I'm not sure. I just heard an idea, and I wanted to throw it out. So, like I say every week, hit the like, subscribe, share button. I appreciate everybody who's been listening. And stay tuned for more videos throughout the week. And talk to you guys soon.